Have you ever found yourself staring at your phone, heart heavy, wondering why they've gone silent? Why the one person who feels like home has suddenly turned into a stranger? It's like standing in the middle of a storm you can't control, trying to hold on to something that keeps slipping away. Twin flame connections are not ordinary relationships. They're mirrors, catalysts, and the kind of love that shakes the foundation of who we think we are. And when one part of that dynamic, the runner, pulls away, it's not just about them disappearing, it's about the questions it leaves behind. What did I do wrong? Are they ever coming back? But the truth is, this isn't about blame, or even necessarily about fixing anything. It's about understanding. Because twin flame dynamics are not linear, and neither are the reasons someone might run. It's not just avoidance or fear. Sometimes it's the weight of their own inner shadows. Sometimes it's timing. And sometimes it's something we can't fully grasp yet, because their journey, just like ours, is unfolding in ways that only make sense when we step back and see the bigger picture. So let's dive into the deeper truths behind why your twin flame runner might not be talking to you. 1. They're overwhelmed by the intensity. Meeting your twin flame is like looking directly into the sun. It's beautiful, powerful, and sometimes too much. The connection can shine a light on everything they're not ready to see, and silence becomes their shield. 2. They don't feel enough. This connection may have awakened their deepest insecurities. Maybe they're questioning their worth, feeling like they're not the version of themselves you deserve. 3. Fear of rejection. Even if you've never hinted at pushing them away, that fear can live in the shadows of their mind, convincing them it's safer to leave than to risk being abandoned. 4. They're running from themselves, not you. This silence, it's less about you and more about what they're avoiding within. The twin flame bond acts as a mirror, and sometimes they can't bear to see their own reflection. 5. Timing isn't aligned. They may be in a phase of life that doesn't allow for the depth and vulnerability this connection requires. It's not about not wanting it, it's about not knowing how to handle it right now. 6. They're still healing old wounds. Past relationships, childhood trauma, or even ancestral patterns might be resurfacing. Talking to you might stir those wounds in ways they're not ready to face. 7. Fear of losing their freedom. Sometimes they equate connection with entrapment, even though this bond is meant to set both of you free. Their silence could be their way of holding onto a sense of control. 8. They're trying to protect you. In their eyes, staying away might feel like they're sparing you from their chaos, even if that's not what you want or need. 9. Spiritual ego is at play. If they're awakening, they might feel like they need to figure everything out alone, as if seeking connection would hinder their growth. 10. They're afraid of what they feel. This isn't just any love, it's soul deep. And for someone not used to that, it can feel like diving into an ocean without knowing how to swim. 11. Societal pressures. They might feel torn between their connection with you and societal norms, family expectations, or career demands that seem incompatible with this love. 12. Unresolved karma. There could be lingering lessons or dynamics from past lives or their current one that they're still navigating, making it hard to fully show up. 13. They think they're doing what's best for you. In their mind, pulling away might feel like a selfless act, even if it feels like abandonment to you. 14. They're questioning the connection. It's not doubt in its truest form, it's their mind trying to make sense of something their soul already knows. 15. Fear of vulnerability. This connection requires raw, unfiltered honesty. If they've built walls over the years, breaking them down might feel like an impossible task. 16. They're lost in distractions. Work, hobbies, other relationships, they might be burying themselves in these to avoid facing what this connection brings to the surface. 17. They don't understand it yet. Sometimes they can't find the words or clarity to explain what's happening, so silence becomes their default. 18. They're in the dark night of the soul. A period of deep spiritual transformation might be unfolding for them, and during this time, they might feel disconnected from everyone, including you. 19. Unconscious resistance. Even if they consciously want this connection, there might be deeper, unconscious parts of them resisting the change it brings. 20. Fear of hurting you. If they're carrying guilt or shame, they might believe their silence is protecting you from their perceived flaws. 21. Ego and pride. If there's been conflict or miscommunication, their ego might be keeping them from reaching out, even when their heart wants to. 22. They're processing their feelings. This connection isn't just felt, it's lived. Sometimes they need silence to untangle the emotions it stirs. 23. They're dealing with external chaos. Work, family, finances, life's external pressures might be taking their focus away, even if their soul is still connected to you. 24. They've convinced themselves you're better off without them. This belief often stems from deep-seated self-doubt and a skewed perception of their worth. 25. They're mirroring you. Twin flames often reflect each other's unspoken fears and unhealed wounds. Is there a part of you that might also be running, perhaps emotionally or energetically? And that's only halfway. The reasons are as varied and layered as the journey itself, but they all point back to one truth. This silence isn't about punishment or rejection, it's a chapter in a much larger story. Let's keep unraveling this together. Each reason holds a piece of the puzzle, leading us closer to understanding not just them, but ourselves too. 26. They're afraid of losing themselves. The twin flame connection can feel all-encompassing, like it's pulling them into something so vast that they might forget who they are outside of it. Silence becomes a way of reclaiming that sense of individuality, even if it's only temporary. 27. They're stuck in their comfort zone. Change, even when it's for the better, can be terrifying. The growth this connection demands might feel too far outside the boundaries of what they know. 28. Unfinished business with someone else. There could be unresolved emotions or ties with another person that need closure before they can fully open up to you. 29. They're replaying past patterns. If they've been conditioned to withdraw in times of stress or connection, this might be an old habit playing out in a new and profound relationship. 30. They don't recognize the connection yet. Not everyone realizes the depth of a twin flame bond immediately. They might still be trying to fit it into the framework of a normal relationship. 31. They fear the unknown. The connection challenges everything they thought they knew about love, life, and themselves. That uncertainty can feel like standing on the edge of a cliff. 32. They need to reclaim their power. If they've been in relationships where they lost their sense of autonomy, the intensity of this bond might feel like another potential loss of control. 33. They're scared of your reaction. If they've made mistakes or hurt you, they might fear how you'll respond if they reach out. 34. They're being triggered. This connection has a way of pressing on hidden wounds. Their silence could be a sign that something in the dynamic is hitting a tender spot they're not ready to face. 35. They're trying to make sense of their feelings. The bond defies logic. It's not something that can be analyzed or rationalized easily, and their silence might be them trying to find mental clarity. 36. They're following their soul's guidance. On a higher level, their soul might know that separation is necessary for both of your growth. This doesn't make it easier, but it's often part of the journey. 37. They're dealing with shame. Shame can be paralyzing. If they're carrying it, whether it's about the past, the present, or even how they've handled the connection, it might feel safer to withdraw. 38. They fear being exposed. The bond between twin flames is so transparent, so raw, that it can feel like you're seeing into their very soul. For someone not ready to be that open, it can be overwhelming. 39. They're doubting their intuition. Even if their heart is pulling them toward you, their mind might be questioning it, trying to rationalize something that can't be explained. 40. They've disconnected from themselves. When someone feels lost or out of alignment with their true self, connecting with another, even their twin flame, can feel impossible. 41. They think you're too good to be true. This connection might feel so rare, so divine, that it triggers skepticism or disbelief. 42. They're struggling with external expectations. Cultural, familial, or societal pressures might be at odds with the path their soul is leading them toward. 43. They're afraid of what they'll find in you. You are their mirror, and sometimes looking at you means seeing parts of themselves they've tried to ignore. 44. They're trying to regain balance. This connection can feel like a whirlwind, and silence might be their way of finding some grounding. 45. They feel unworthy of unconditional love. The love between twin flames is limitless, and if they've never experienced that before, it can feel like a love they don't deserve. 46. They're experiencing spiritual confusion. The connection often comes with a spiritual awakening, which can be as disorienting as it is enlightening. 47. They're afraid of losing the normal life they've built. The bond might call them to leave behind aspects of their current life that feel safe or familiar. 48. They don't want to hurt you further. In their silence, they might believe they're sparing you from pain, even if it's doing the opposite. 49. They're waiting for you to reach out. Sometimes the runner wants the chaser to come after them, to prove that the connection is real, even if it feels unfair or confusing. 50. They love you deeply, but don't know how to show it. The silence isn't a lack of love. It's their way of navigating something they can't yet understand or articulate. So what now? It's easy to get lost in these reasons, to analyze every word, every pause, every moment of silence. But the most profound realization is this: their journey is theirs, just as yours is yours. The twin flame path is about growth, not just as a pair but as individuals. Their silence might feel like rejection, but often, it's an act of deep transformation, both for them and for you. Lean into your own healing. Follow your own light. And trust that whatever is meant to unfold will, in divine timing. The connection doesn't fade, It evolves, teaching you both what love truly means. And sometimes, the silence is where the greatest lessons are whispered.